This is my third meeting with the ACHD, one starting back in Clairton last March. I actually live on the East End, so I get Clairton's pollution. And from 12 miles away. I'm not marinating in it, as I think somebody said. There were only 20 people at that meeting. So I'm hearing folks talking about how disheartening this meeting is. My heart is filled with joy right now because there are so many people here that are telling their stories and who are mad and who are wanting to do something. That in itself is hopeful. There's a lot of things that we're hearing that are confusing to me, certainly. There's a lot of frustrating bureaucracy that is being dealt with at every level here. But the part of the story that I want to tell, mine's no different than anybody else's. It stinks. And I moved here a few years ago, and it stinks. How many people, by the way, moved here in the last, 10 years? How many people wishes they hadn't moved here in the last 10 years? Or, I love my house. My parents grew up in Braddock and McKees Rock, so I'm no stranger to Pittsburgh. In any case, what I wanted to get at is the fact that there's a lot of bureaucracy that we are dealing with, and this, what you're doing right now, is the cure. We can't collect data for them, but we can call the ACHD. The ACHD also has a website. Let's not forget this. I don't know how many people have small computers in their pockets like I do. I have the achd.net on my smartphone so that I can send them an email, and I sent enough emails that they started calling me back. I also have bookmarked the names of my representatives, and both at a county and state level, I'm starting to look at our new governor. We can start talking to him about these things as well. It's really important that you make yourself heard, because the thing is, if you don't talk to anyone about it, they're not going to think that there's a problem. I went to city council, our city council representative from my area, Corey O'Connor, and it took a few months. They put together a post agenda. I don't know how many folks read about it in the paper or saw it on WPXI. It was an astounding experience because the story that I was telling was not any different than a lot of what we heard today, but it felt like it was surprising to some people who were maybe on the council or there or reading about it in the newspaper. This is making a difference. We are all here in this room making a difference, and please don't stop. Don't depend on the monitors to do your reporting for you. Tell your friends, get everybody crashing the ACHD site. Crash your representative sites, please, because the thing is that, honestly, someone from the Post-Gazette called me, a reporter, and he said, so once you started smelling the smell, what did it take for you to do something about it? And I said, well, actually, not very much. My parents were also they were in a teachers union. They were in a union. They were very politically involved. And my mom still tells me on a weekly basis to write to my congressman. She actually reminded me to vote a couple weeks ago, in case being 39 years old, I didn't realize that there was a governor's election going on. She told me several times that I had to vote, actually. But it does make a difference. And the first thing that Corey O'Connor's chief of staff said to us was, well, nobody has ever talked to us about this before. It boggled my mind. I thought, does nobody actually smell the smell? Does nobody think this is a problem? And I think there are a lot of people who maybe don't smell the smell as much, or they don't think it's a problem, or they just accept that that's the price of living in Pittsburgh and it's a lot better than it used to be, so it's not a big deal. But if you don't talk to people about it, if you don't do what you're doing right now and go home, bookmark things on your computer, get on your phone and call people, nothing else will happen. If the regulations are so lame that what we're dealing with right now isn't really breaking the law, then we have to make the regulations better. And we are the only people that are actually going to make that happen. So that's my big rah-rah speech. There's so many people here. This is so awesome.